Hello and welcome to Your Shout for the unfamiliar and uninitiated. This is the show where you send us your clips. You send them to info@hammerschat.com. That's info@hammerschat.com. And we feature them. If it's a small clip, a 2-3 minute clip, we'll feature them on Your Shout. If it's a larger clip, like Paul sometimes sends me, we've got Mike on Mondays doing that, have it, then we'll package it up as a full clip and we'll just put it out there. It's basically giving you lot the opportunity to have your say. We've got a Blowing Bubbles special coming up soon as well, where a few of the writers, Emily, Holly, Greg, David, of course, the editor of Blowing Bubbles magazine, will give you their opinions on all the latest going on at West Ham. So just stay tuned. This is the Hammers Chat Forum channel. As I say, it's really there for you, so please make sure you subscribe. Just because you're subscribed to the other channel doesn't mean you're automatically subscribed to this one. Okay, so we're hot on the heels of the Burnley game. I've got 2 clips for you today. The first one is from Mr B, regular contributor. Mr B wants to talk about Andy Carroll, I'm sure. And we've got Chaz. I've only seen half of these clips just so I could sort of load them up. So I'm going to watch them in their entirety now. The next one we've got Chaz. So anyway, yes, first up, Mr B. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hello again, Mr B here, this time with a very, very quick resume of yesterday's 1-1 draw against Burnley. A game that started off really, really quite well. First sort of 20 minutes or so, totally in control, well taken goal by Antonio, and we looked as though we could probably go on and extend that lead and come away with a comfortable win and 3 points. But no, we got hit by a brain-dead twat, namely Andy Carroll. I have a little bit of sympathy for the first yellow. It was quite clear that he was looking at the ball. It wasn't a case of like look at a man and bang him with the elbow. He just went up for the ball using the elbow as leverage. Yeah, he caught him, and some weeks you see those yellow carded, and some weeks you don't. The ref deemed to be a card. He got the card, but then you'd think that the captain or Zabba or somebody would have pulled him to one side and said, look, Andy, you know, you've been around the block long enough, just keep it calm, don't do anything rash for the next sort of 10-15 minutes, you're under the microscope. We need 11 men on the pitch against Burnley, we don't want to go down. But no, I mean, obviously the rarefied air up at 6'6", 7, 8 or whatever he is means the brain doesn't function. Within a minute and 30 seconds or so, off he'd gone. After launching into to me, he led with the elbow. He could have done him some serious. He could have done him some serious damage. It was bordering, I think, bordering a straight red. Yeah, he headed the ball, but it was elbow first, and he went flying into him. You know, that was the kind of challenge I used to see, like in the 1970s. You know, when football was a man's game. It was a dreadful challenge, and he left the referee with absolutely nowhere to go at all. He had to send him off, and it could have been a straight red. So thereafter, it's backs against the wall. I think the team did really, really well. They battled well. We still managed to play some actually quite nice football. I loved it when Obiang came on. It just calmed it all down. We did the job, and I thought we might have clung on, but the pressure was piling, and sadly they got their head with a few minutes to go, and we would come away with a point. But it felt like a draw snatched from the mouth of a victory. We were sort of hopefully going to get 3 points, but as I say, I think before the game I'd have taken a point against Burnley every day. And a few positives to draw, and for once, nice not to come on here and do a Bilic out rant, which is or an anti-Bilic rant, which makes a nice, pleasant change. But the man of the day, Andy Carroll, or twat of the day, that should be Andy Carroll. Disappointing, and I'm afraid he's cost us the points. So interesting to see what we do next game. I think a lot of people would like to see 2 quick men up front, but whether or not Slav will go back to Chicharito on his own, we shall see. But gutting yesterday, but onwards and upwards. Come new irons.
Mr B there, who not only wants to create a whole new award called Twat of the Day, forget Man of the Match, and I would like to see Andy Carroll's face if Mr B were to award him the award. Is it award? Statue? A trophy? Bottle of bubbly? Who knows? I don't know what you get for Twat of the Day, but I would certainly like to see Andy Carroll's face when Mr B gives it to him. And he wants to get a point off Burnley every day of the week. Well, I'll tell you what, we would be nowhere near relegation, that's for sure. We'll be up in the Champions League places. Don't think it's going to happen, though. Andy Carroll, well, a lot of people have been talking about Andy Carroll. It's like Mr B said, things were different in the 70s, weren't they? It was a bit of a man's game, and at least Andy Carroll only clattered another man. It was a competitor. It wasn't like he sort of, I don't know, he went to the park and he got overly competitive with his missus. Or he was out in a garden and he decided to start knocking his kids over. He did only elbow another man, just like Arnautovic only elbowed another man. Anyway, we've got Chaz coming up now, but just bear in mind, we've just been talking about Andy Carroll. Chaz doesn't want to talk about Andy Carroll. So just remember that. He's going to say it himself. Chaz is not going to talk about Andy Carroll. Over to you, Chaz.
Right, so I didn't watch the game against Burnley. I was at work. But since then, I've watched highlights. But I'm not going to have my say on the Carroll incident. I think that the first one, maybe not a yellow card even. The second one could possibly have got a red card. So I think it evened itself out. I don't know. I'm not gonna make too fine of a comment on it because I didn't actually watch the game in its entirety. I just watched moments of the game. But from what I hear, there's a big split on whether or not he should have been sent off, and 100% of people agree that him getting sent off ruined the game and that we would have won quite convincingly had he not. But I just want to talk about the implications of his sending off, because obviously he can't play in the next game because he's been sent off. We can't appeal it because it's 2 yellows. But Bilic has been trying to shoehorn him into the team for a while now, so I actually see this as a good thing. He's in that limbo at the minute where Carroll, we play bad football when he's on the pitch because we have to accommodate him. Everyone will agree he has 8 games a season where he's unplayable, and then the others, even when he's fit in the others, he sort of pegs us back a little bit because we have to play to his strengths. But I just think Bilic, his handling of Carroll this season has been really bad. His handling of Hernandez has been absolutely poor. I have to start looking. I mean, Hernandez has not set the world alight, but I have to start looking at it now. How many players have to come to West Ham and be average before we start asking the question, are we buying average players, or is Bilic making these players average? Zaza, nearly said it wrong. Zaza's banging him in at Valencia. Arnautovic was inconsistent but a lot better at Stoke. Hernandez has been good everywhere else he's gone. Snodgrass was a completely different player when he came to West Ham. I think Fonte's come along. I'm not going to talk about Fonte, but he's had a bit of a turbulent time, whereas at Southampton he was pretty consistently solid. But I'm quite pleased with him as of now. But I really, really don't think that Bilic knows what to do with a lot of players. Like, I think there was a stat. I'm not directly quoting this because I don't know if it's true, but all of Hernandez's Premier League goals were scored inside the box, apparently, and Bilic played him left wing to accommodate Carroll. It just makes no sense. I think constantly starting Cresswell over Masuaku and not giving Masuaku a look-in, I think that's criminal. Obiang, he's alienated Obiang, who I think is actually one of our best players. I think he's turned our fans against Noble this season by playing him in certain games, making him do certain things. You know, he's ruined IU. What more can I say? Sacco hates him, and look at what we thought. We never had any problems from Sacco when Allardyce was manager. I don't want Allardyce back. That's the last thing I want, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Hello, Len here. So Sky TV wanted to play football on Christmas Eve? No, thank you very much. Every Christmas Eve, me and Shirley go and watch a carol service. And when I say carol service, I don't mean Ginger Pele launching it long up the pitch. Anyway, We're playing on the 23rd, which is just as well because we're playing Newcastle and I can't handle stuffing 2 days in a row. Come on, you Irons.
Thank you very much indeed, Chaz there. Very, very much appreciated. Chaz, who didn't want to mention Andy Carroll at all. And of course, Mr B beforehand. Thank you, fellas, very much for your videos. Keep them coming. I'm only taking a mickey. It did bring up a valid point, though, and that was the broader picture, which was Andy Carroll being out of the equation stops us launching the ball very, very long and forces us to play football on a deck, which I think has got to really be something that appeals to all of us and help to sort of force the issue on that, really. It's a 1-game ban, and he's got something to ponder on, Slav, because I actually thought the formation was quite adventurous. So if he goes with the same formation, maybe tweaks the personnel, then I guess he's going to play Sacco and Hernandez up front. He touched on the Arnautovic issue. Arnautovic has largely escaped a lot of the focus, I think, just purely because other things have been happening. But I think, bearing in mind he's a record signing, the record signing ever for a club like West Ham, he was elbowing as well, like they've obviously been practicing in training, and he missed the first 3 games, let his manager down hugely, old Slav there, and he's not really done anything apart from played well in a cup game against a team that were bottom of lower division. So I'm expecting more from him, but I would like to hear what you think about him, because we've not had a chance to discuss him. We can't do a cup of tea this week because the game falls on a Friday, which means on Wednesday on the main channel we'll be doing our preview. Stay tuned to that. What do you think of Arnautovic? Big calls for Masuaku to play there, so be very interesting to see what Slav does on Friday against Brighton Hove Albion. Talking about the 2 strikers, though, there's also another striker at the club who's done very, very well this week, and that, of course, is Martinez, Tony Martinez. For those of you that don't know, the reserves, or the under-23s, as they're called, played Manchester United under-23s. Now, we've just been promoted up to the division there, where we're playing a lot of the big boys, and actually we're doing quite well. We're 2nd or 3rd in the league, but we gave them a good pasting. We beat them 4-2, and it was no fluke at all. It was thoroughly deserved, and we put out a very, very strong team. Young Byron was playing. Rice had come back into the team. He was playing with Pask next to him. He looks a very good player. Holland and Fernandez, Gonzo Fernandez, were playing as well. They were combining very, very well. And young Kemp was there as well, playing on the right. But the star of the show was, of course, Tony Martinez. Scored a hat-trick. And one of them real poacher's finish, another one really sort of smart header. The footage is all over social media, so you've probably seen it. If not, I'll try and lift it from somewhere and stick it in here so you can have a look. But if not, hunt it down, have a look.
Martinez, and it was a really well struck shot. This from this kind of distance as well. It's going to go in. But United, you think, should have done more to stop the cross at source?
Yeah, absolutely. We spoke at our time about the goal, but their 2v1 situation, they were slow to react. The West Ham players, got a man extra, and he had plenty of time to pick his spot and argue whether Ed Nielsen had his hands all over the defence.
It looked like they were going to go into the break in front, but then deep into added time in that first half, Martinez gets his second to draw his side level with a lovely little header.
Yeah, again, cross coming in, this time from the right, in swinging. Didn't really do enough to get out to stop the cross, and it was a brilliant cross. Very, very difficult to defend, and there again, Martinez on the end of it.
Very, very impressive, and you have to wonder whether or not any of those youngsters will have done enough to impress Bilic, really. I don't know if Martinez is going to warrant a place on the bench. He certainly, I think, deserves it after that, but I think Slav's finding it difficult. He's got a very good bench at the moment, and our second record signing, Ayew, doesn't look like he can get into the team, so maybe Slav won't risk it, and he'll consider not promoting Martinez to the bench or any of the under-23s just yet, in case so as he doesn't sort of upset Ayew. Who knows? Declan Rice certainly done nothing wrong for the first team this season. One high-profile mistake, but let's be honest, when you've got people like Andy Carroll and Arnautovic making absolute whoppers of errors, which make Rice's error pale into insignificance, it would be wrong just to punish him and keep him out of the team. Why? Because he's young? No, well, you know what? Andy Carroll and Arnautovic should know better than to go around elbowing players. So I would like to see a few of those fantastic under-23s. And well done to Terry Wesley, who's got them playing very, very well. Right, I'll do another one of these Your Shouts. I'll probably wait until the end of next week because we've got Brighton Hove Albion, as I said, coming up. Then we've got Tottenham. That's a big game, huge game. I really fancy our chances for that. So we'll have a lot of videos coming out. But please do send me your opinions. As I say, if you want to have a big long rant, I'll just package it up and I'll just stick it straight on the channel. Don't forget to tune in to Mike on Mondays, which is by Mike every Monday. Funnily enough, we've got the Avit show coming up, which could happen on any day. It's not Avit on any particular day. And I'm sure we've got Paul, who's our overseas hammer across the pond, keep casting an eye on everything that's going on over here. And he'll be doing a video again very soon, I'm sure. He's got a very, very sharp analytical eye and is a very good watch. But as I say, this is your channel. Please do subscribe to it and please do send in your clips. Keep them coming. Post your comments below. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go, and I'll see you next time.